Yo, guys, welcome back. We are going to do another video today. I'm just having way too much fun pumping these videos out. I'm getting a lot of fun reactions out of everybody. I know the tier lists and everything are super cringe. They're super biased, and it's all my opinion. So I'm just loving all the reactions I'm getting. I wanted to do another video today. I've been hinting at it a lot, and I just felt like, instead of delaying, like, let's just talk about it now early, and we can always come back and review this video or edit this video or change our minds on this stuff. But let's talk about a tier 7 classic Wrath speedrunning comp today. And so I've drafted up my idea of what I would want to take as a speedrunning comp in tier 7. I'm mostly building this for a Nax Ramus run. I don't care so much about Obsidian Sanctum or EOE, although I do think this is going to be a pretty good comp for both of those as well. And we'll get to that in a minute, but just going to break this all down, talk about why I think this comp would be a really, really, really strong comp. Maybe the best comp, although it's totally up for debate. We have no idea how the HP values are going to be in effect on Wrath Classic, so let's just go ahead and talk about it. First things right off the bat, the first thing you can see is we are bringing 9 Arcane Mages, and we could even make this, 10 or 11 if we wanted to swap out a couple Demonology Warlocks. But the reason we're bringing Arcane Mage is because Arcane Mage is probably the strongest and the biggest DPS in tier 7 for burst heavy fights. And the more arcane that we bring, the quicker we can kill bosses. And the quicker we can kill bosses, the more DPS that these arcane are going to do because they're so heavily front loaded. So if we front load everything in our entire raid towards this arcane mage meta, we can just continue to stack them over and over and just bring high CDs so that we can just pump straight through the instance. Now, there are some downfalls with arcane. Their AoE isn't great, and they're extremely CD reliant. So if we kill a boss, rush through trash, get to the next boss, and they don't have their CDs up, they're going to do a lot less damage. And that's definitely something to think about, especially considering when you pop Bloodlust and Wrath, you're going to be sated for 10 minutes, which is really going to be an effect. Like, you might be only able to lust once a wing. So we counteract that by bringing some Demonology Warlocks who are going to be way better on trash than an Arcane Mage. Balanced Druid is going to be really, really good on trash. And I still think that bringing a comfortable melee or physical DPS group is going to be really, really helpful for you on trash. And the reason we bring this kind of setup is because it's going to be bringing all the buffs for that melee as well. So that way they're getting everything that they need. This Combat Rogue is going to bring the physical increase with the improved exposed armor. We got our Unholy DK, increasing the damage of all the other Death Knights. Our Blood is actually going to be our main off tank. Hopefully that they are switching to a Frost or Unholy off spec as often as they can for these solo tank fights, but we really like Blood because they're going to be able to provide a Hysteria for your Feral DPS. Your Feral DPS is obviously bringing your melee crit. Your enhancement is literally the token shaman here. Someone has suppressed Bloodlust, and it's got to be them, right? I mean, we could take an elemental in this case, maybe in place of the balance, but if you do that, you miss out on some spell hits. So if you replace the balance, then you got to take a shadow. So I kind of like this caster setup right now. Sure, there's a lot of room for debate here, but I'd rather my Bloodlust bitch be my enhance, even though enhance is probably like the least desirable shaman to press Bloodlust because they don't want to use the global, but too bad. They're going to have to do it. I like Retribution here, even though they're probably the weakest class in this whole setup, maybe next to Balance. But I do really like Retribution. They're super strong in Tier 7, especially in Nax. They're going to get a lot of use out of their Holy Wrath. They're going to do really, really good damage like that. But also, I want 3 Paladins because I want 3 Paladin buffs. I don't want to bring another Protection Paladin because I don't want to 2-tank a lot of these fights. And I don't want to bring another Holy Paladin because I want to 2-heal most of these fights. These fights where you can maybe solo heal, maybe this Disciplined Priest goes Shadow, but honestly, I think I'd be comfortable just 2-healing everything. I think that's safest. Speaking of 2-healing, I want to 2-heal this because, well, one, I want to drop as many healers as possible. I don't want to 5-heal it. I don't think 4-healing it's going to be meta either. I think 3-healing it is comfortable, and I think you can. I think maybe 3-healing might be the play because 2-healing could be a little too rough. I just think your Holy Paladin is going to struggle really bad on trash. They're just such a hard casting healer that you need a super, super mobile healer, and the most mobile healer that's actually really strong in meta is going to be your Discipline Priest. They're going to bring PI for one of these mages, or maybe even a Demo Lock. And so just bring your Disc Priest, and they're going to be super useful too. I think the Holy Paladin and Disc Priest are going to be in tandem, the two best two healing classes you can bring for tier 7. Now we like Survival because they're going to be bringing our what is it called? They're bringing our melee hit reduction, but the balance also brings that. We got these two Frosty Ks bringing the melee haste. This is just a super well-rounded comp, honestly. And your Protection Paladin does probably the most amount of damage of any tank in the game anyway. A couple things that you could swap around here is potentially maybe not even running a Blood DK. Maybe you just run a Frost DK that has tank gear, and they just swap gear back and forth, and that they're never switching specs. Because Blood DK actually does really little damage. Like, their damage is terrible. It's so bad. So maybe you just run a Frost or Unholy DK who just throws on tank gear for the fights that need it. This DK in particular, I'm assuming this is going to be your third tank for your patchwork fight. And that's pretty much it. I really love this comp. I think it's going to be crazy good. I think you could really keep up the pace with this comp. You do get a couple innervates. I mean, 2 is not very much, but when you're considering you have 9 arcane mages, we got to do something to keep up the innervates. We got a couple replenishments. These are being brought by our survival and our ret. So I would like to see more replenishments, but I don't want to bring any other class that can provide replenishment over an arcane mage at this point. The good thing about demonology warlocks is they're going to be able to keep up mana no problem. So they'll always be pumping, and they won't have to stop for any reason at all. I think this comp's good. And another thing about survival is they're going to be able to bring aspects of the pack. So in case you need a big trash skip where you want everyone to have some movement speed, survival is going to be useful for that. But I think this is it. I think it's going to be a really, really good comp. You could easily Zerg Obsidian Sanctum with this comp. I think the Discipline Priest helps out the Paladin a lot for a fight like EOE. Your Arcane Mages are going to be super good for EOE as well. You can pop Lust with the last Spark as the boss is transitioning into the last phase. Your Demonology locks can maybe throw in a good Curse of Doom at the very end. I think stacking Unholy or stacking your Death Knights as your melee DPS as much as you can is going to be super useful for you as well. I mean, they're going to be amazing for trash. I mean, Frost and Unholy are both just super, super good at trash. So I think this pacing and this meta will be super strong in tier 7. But that's what I got. It's a little bit of a shorter video, not a whole lot controversial here, although I would love to hear everyone's opinions. If you have an opinion, if you disagree with me, leave it in the comments below. DM me on Discord, whatever you want, man. I'm just absolutely loving this stuff. I'm going to keep blasting out more and more content. I know the quality is super, super crappy. Like, I don't have the best thumbnails in the world. I'm not doing any editing here, but I just wanted to give you guys the content that you deserve. So just keep tuning in. Subscribe if you want, and we'll have more videos. Cheers, guys.